Hey.
Hi. We'd just like to say a few words to explain what we are doing before we begin.
We were tasked a project over the book To Kill a Mockingbird, but we thought we'd go a little bit further, because we're awesome.
So, we decided to make a video.
You will soon witness 3 of the most memorable scenes from the book, but each scene we will reenact twice, so there's a catch.
The first time, we'll play the scene as it is in the book.
But then the second time, we reenact the same scene, but without the figurative language, such as metaphors, similes, etc., etc.
We came to the gate that divided the garden from the backyard. Jem touched it. The gate squeaked. Spit on it. You've got us in a box, Jem. We can't get out of here so easy. Shh, spit on it, Scout. We spat ourselves dry, and Jem opened the gate slowly, lifting it aside and resting it on the fence. We were in the backyard. The back of the Radley's house was less inviting than the front. A ramshackle porch ran the width of the house. There were 2 doors and 2 dark windows between the doors. Instead of a column, a rough 2x4 supported one end of the roof. An old Franklin stove sat in the corner of the porch. Above it, a hat rack mirror caught the moon and shone eerily. "Arr," said Jim softly, lifting his foot. "What's the matter?" "Chickens," he breathed. That we would be obliged to dodge the unseen from all directions was confirmed when Dill ahead of us spelled G-O-D in a whisper. We crept to the side of the house, around to the window with the hanging shutter. The sill was several inches taller than Jem. "Give you a hand up," he muttered to Dill. "Wait though." Jim grabbed his left wrist and my right wrist. I grabbed my left wrist and Jem's right wrist. We crouched, and Dill sat at our saddle. We raised him, and he caught the windowsill. "Hurry," Jem whispered. "We can't last much longer." Dill punched my shoulder, and we lowered him to the ground. "What'd you see?" "Nothing. Curtains. Just a little tiny light, though." "Let's get out of here," breathed Jem. "Let's go around and back again." "Shh," he warned me, as I was about to protest. "Let's try the back window." "Dill, no," I said. Dill stopped and let Jem go ahead. When Jem put his foot on the bottom step, the step squeaked. He stood still, and then tried his weight by degrees. The step was silent. Jem skipped 2 steps, put his foot on the porch, heaved himself to it, and teetered a long moment. He regained his balance and dropped to his knees. He crawled to the window, raising his head and looked in. Then I saw the shadow. It was the shadow of a man with a hat on. At first I thought it was a tree, but there was no wind blowing, and tree trunks never walked. The back porch was bathed in moonlight, and the shadow, crisp as a toast, moved across the porch toward Jem. Dill saw it first. He put his hands to his face. When it crossed Jem, Jem saw it. He put his arms over his head and went rigid. The shadow stopped about a foot beyond Jem. Its arm came out from its side, dropped, and it was still. Then it turned and moved back across Jem, walked along the porch, and off the side of the house, returning as it had come. Jem leaped off the porch and galloped towards us. He flung open the gate, danced Dill and me through, and shooed us between 2 rows of swishing collards. Halfway across the collards I tripped. As I tripped, the roar of the shotgun scattered the neighborhood.
We came to the gate that divided the garden from the backyard. Jem touched it. The gate squeaked. "Spit on it," said Dill. "You've got us in a box, Jem," I said. "We can't get out of here so easy."
Spit on the Scout.
We spat on the fence till it worked. We were in the backyard. The back of the Radley's house was scary.
"Arr," said Jem.
"What's the matter?"
"Chickens,"
he said. Dill did a blasphemy. We crept to the side of the house. "Give you a hands up," he said to Dill.
"Wait though."
We raised him and he caught his windowsill.
"Hurry,"
Jem said.
"We can't last much longer."
And we lowered him to the ground.
"What'd you see?"
"Nothing. Curtains. There's a little teeny light off somewhere though."
"Let's get out of here," said Jem.
Let's go around the back again. Shh. He told me. Let's try the back window. Dill, no, I said. Dill stopped. Jem stepped on a squeaky step. He tried to bounce, and the step was silent. Jem moved forward. Then I saw a shadow. At first, I thought it was a tree, but it wasn't. Dill saw it next. Then Jen saw it and got scared.
I'm so scared.
The shadow started going after Jem. Jem fled. Then we all fled. But then I tripped as I heard a gunshot.
Kaboom! Atticus put his foot on the rung of a chair and rubbed his hand slowly down the side of his thigh. There he is, he said softly. Tim Johnson came into sight walking dazedly in the inner rim of the curve parallel to the Radley house. Look at him, whispered Jem. Mr. Heck said they walked in a straight line. He can't even stay on the road. He looks more sick than anything, I said. Let anything get in front of him and he'll come straight at it. Mr. Tate put his hand to his forehead and leaned forward. He's got it all right, Mr. Finch. Tim Johnson was advancing at a snail's pace, but he was not playing or sniffing at foliage. He seemed dedicated to one course and motivated by an invisible force that was inching him towards us. We could see him shiver like a horse shredding flies. His jaw opened and shut. He was a list, but he was being pulled gradually towards us. He's looking for a place to die, said Jem. Mr. Tate turned around. He's far from dead, Jem. He hasn't gotten started yet. Tim Johnson reached the side street that ran in front of the Radley house, and what remained of his poor mind made him pause and seem to consider which road he would take. He made a few hesitant steps and stopped in front of the Radley gate. Then he tried to turn around but was having difficulty. Atticus said, He's within range, Heck. You better get him before he goes down the side street. Lord knows who's around the corner. Go inside, Cal. Calpurnia opened the screen door, latched it behind her, then unlatched it and held onto the hook. Take him, Mr. Finch. Mr. Tate handed the rifle to Atticus. Jem and I nearly fainted. Don't waste time, Heck, said Atticus. Go on, Mr. Finch. This is a one-shot job. Atticus shook his head vehemently. Don't just stand there, Heck. He won't wait all day for you. For God's sake, Mr. Finch. Look where he is. Miss, and you'll go straight into the Radley house. I can't shoot that well, and you know it. I haven't shot a gun in 30 years. I'd feel mighty comfortable if you did now. Mr. Tate almost threw the rifle at Atticus. In a fog, Jem and I watched our father take the gun and walk out into the middle of the street. He walked quickly, but I thought he moved like an underwater swimmer. Time had slowed to a nauseating crawl. When Atticus raised his glasses, Calpurnia murmured, Sweet Jesus, help him, and put her hands to her cheeks. Atticus pushed his glasses to his forehead. They slipped down and he dropped them in the street. In the silence, I heard him crack. Atticus rubbed his eyes and chin. We saw him blink hard. In front of the Radley gate, Tim Johnson had made up what was left of his mind. He had finally turned himself around to pursue his original course up our street. He made 2 steps forward, then stopped and raised his head. We saw his body go rigid. With movements so swift they seemed simultaneous, Atticus's hand yanked a bally-tipped lever as he brought the gun to his shoulder. The rifle cracked. Tim Johnson leaped, flopped over, and crumpled on the sidewalk in a brown and white heap. He didn't know what hit him. Atticus chilled on a chair. There he is, he said. There was Tim Johnson walking. Look at him, said Jem. Mr. Heck said they walked in a straight line. He can't even stay in the road. He looks more sick than anything, I said. Let anything get in front of him and he'll come straight at it. He's got it all right, Mr. Finch. Tim Johnson was going slow. He came towards us. He's looking for a place to die, said Jem. Mr. Tate turned around. He's far from dead, Jem. He hasn't gotten started yet. Tim Johnson went in front of the Radley place. He made a few steps, but then stopped. Atticus said, He's within range, Heck. You better get him before he goes down the street. Lord knows who's around the corner. Go inside, Cal. Cal ran away. Then Atticus and Heck Tate argued over who was going to shoot the dog. Jem and I watched our father walk down the road. He dropped his glasses. Calpurnia said, Sweet Jesus helped him. Then Atticus shot a dog. The dog died.
Thought I heard something, he said. Stop a minute. We stopped. Hear anything? He asked. No. We had not gone 5 paces before he made me stop again. Jem, are you trying to scare me? You know I'm too old. Be quiet, he said. And I knew he was not joking. The night was still. I could hear his breath coming easily beside me. Occasionally there was sudden breeze that hit my bare legs, but it was all that remained of a promised windy night. This was the stillness before a thunderstorm. We listened. Heard an old dog. It's not that, Jem answered. I hear it when we're walking along, but when we stop, I don't hear it. You hear my costume rustling. Aw, it's just Halloween got you, I said, it more to convince myself than Jem. For sure enough, as we began walking, I heard what he was talking about. It was not my costume. It's just old Cecil, said Jem presently. He won't get us again. Let's don't let him think we're hurrying. We slowed to a crawl. I asked Jem how Cecil could follow us in the dark. He looked at me like he'd bump into us from behind. I can see you, Scout, Jem said. How? I can't see you. Your fat streaks are showing. Miss Crenshaw painted them with that shiny stuff so they'd show under the footlights. I can see you pretty well, and I expect Cecil to see you as well, enough to keep his distance. I would show Cecil that we knew he was behind us, and we were ready for him. Cecil Jacobs is a big wet heen, I yelled suddenly, turning around. We stopped. There was no acknowledgement to save the heen bouncing off the distant schoolhouse wall. I'll get him, said Jen. Hey, 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 answered the schoolhouse wall. It was unlike Cecil to hold out for so long. Once he pulled a joke, he'd repeat it time and again. We should have been leapt at already. Jem signaled for me to stop. He said softly, Scout, can you take that thing off? I've got your dress here. I can't get it on in the dark. Okay, he said. Never mind. Jem, are you afraid? No, I think we're almost to the tree now. A few yards from that, and we'll be on to the road. We can see the light then. Jem was talking in an unhurried, flat, toneless voice. I wondered how long he would try to keep Cecil the myth going. You reckon we ought to sing, Jem? No, be real quiet again, Scout. We had not increased our pace. Jem knew it as well as I that it was difficult to walk fast without stumping a toe, tripping on stones, and other inconveniences, and I was barefooted. Maybe it was the wind rustling in the trees, but there wasn't any wind, and there weren't any trees except for the big oak. Our company shuffled and dragged his feet, as if wearing heavy shoes. Whoever it was wore thick cotton pants. What I thought were trees rustling under my feet, and I knew we were near the big oak. Jem pressed my head. We stopped and listened. Shufflefoot had not stopped with us this time. His trousers swished softly and steadily, then we stopped. He was running towards us with no child step. Run, Scout, run, Jem screamed, fell to the ground and rolled as far as I could, floundering to escape my wire prison. From somewhere near came scuffing, kicking sounds of shoes and flesh scraping dirt and roots. Someone rolled against me and I felt Jem. He was up like lightning and pulled me with him, but though my head and shoulders were free, I was so entangled we couldn't get very far. We were nearly to the road when I felt Jem's hand lead me. I felt him jerk backwards to the ground. More scuffing. Then came a dull crunching sound, and Jem screamed. I ran to the direction of Jem's scream and sank into a fat, flabby male stomach. Its owner said, "Uff."
Thought I heard something, he said. Stop a minute. We stopped. Hear anything? We asked. No, I said. Then we stopped again. Jem, are you trying to scare me? You know I am too. Oh, be quiet, he said. He was serious. It was scary. I heard an old dog just then, I said. It is not that, Jem answered. I hear it when we were walking along, but when we stop, I don't hear it. You hear my costume rustling. It's Halloween got you. It's just old Cecil, said Jem. He won't get us again. Don't let him think that we're hurrying, he said. We slowed down. I can see you, Scout, he said. How? I can't see you, I said. Your fat streaks are showing. Miss Crenshaw painted them with the Chinese stuff, so they show up on your footlights. I can see you pretty well, and I expect Cecil can see you well enough to keep his distance, he said. Cecil Jacobs is a big white heen, I said, trying to scare him. I turned around. No reply. I'll get him, said Jem. Hey! Hey. It echoed. Scout, can you take that thing off? I think so, but I ain't got anything much under it. I got your dress here, he said. I can't get it on in the dark, I said. Okay, he said, never mind. Jem, are you afraid? I said. No, I think we're almost to the tree now. A few yards from that and we'll be to the road. We can see the street like then, he said. You reckon we ought to sing, Jem? No, be real quiet. Shut up, Scout. And then we heard steps. And then Jem screamed, Run, Scout, run! We ran. And then I fell. Jem, help me, Jem, I screamed. Then he helped me up. But then he fell down again. And then he got beat up. So then I ran into this guy. Oof, he said.
So, in recap, our video illustrated the differences between a scene with and without figurative language. Scenes with figurative language are longer and more descriptive, and they have a more flavorful script. Scenes without figurative language makes the tone of the scene more obscure, and it makes the scene shorter. Thanks for watching.